Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Judicious Fire, and I am here on the Android account. We are revisiting the Android account that I recently resurrected from the dead. It was at 30k might, now at 425 too. We made our way through all the dungeons. We are on the last stage of HBM. After putting up the last video, I got several requests from subscribers to go through the altar and to take a look at all the heroes. That's what this video will be about. Please hit the subscribe button and we can keep videos like this going. We're going to go through the altar and we're going to take a look at the heroes that I've accumulated on this Android account. It was created early 2014, then abandoned for many years, and about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, I really got back into the swing of things. Just established a guild. If you are interested in joining, please join us. We really want to get the guild turf up. That's our #1 priority. So please be able to make sure our donations if you'd like to join. Okay, so here's the heroes that I have. I prioritized 3 things when I went back into this account and said, hey, I'm going to push this account. I prioritized dungeons. I prioritized Hero Bee monsters, and I prioritized building upgrades. So that all the time while I'm working on heroes, I've got all my builders going. I made it through the dungeons simply by putting about 1,700 gems of dodge on one pet and placing that one pet on Minnow. And that one pet was also placed on Dread Drake, and it's the same effect, 100% every time. The enemy cannot hit a hero that has somewhere around 10,000 dodge. So let's go through these heroes. I am not saying these are the best builds. I'm saying that this is what Android has given me. I've been very happy with it. I am not going to be spending on this account in any kind of way that I'm trying to gain might or min-max anything or make anything perfect. I'm just trying to build a strong, Android account that can compete and contend and hopefully get into some of the top 10s. So we start with Spirit Mage, and I put a regen on the man, and that is great in any land, Android, iOS, whatever server you're on. Man has no cooldown. Keeps pumping out those magic missiles. I got him at skill 11. With Cress, I would often go with a Wicked Armor because the reflect and deflect in this game can be a real killer. His equipment, I've got a Burning Plate on him. I would much prefer a Holy Conviction, but that's what I got. Pumpkin Duke, definitely one of the heroes that I first started to upgrade. Got him up to skill 12 already. I have a regen on him. He has no cooldown. That's probably his best talent in the game. I've got him with a variety of crest or insignias. Don't worry about Sacred Light, damage reduction. A dead Pumpkin Duke does no celebrating. So I'd rather have a slower Pumpkin Duke that at least is able to get down and boogie a little bit than a dead Pumpkin Duke who is done with his days of celebration. And I find that also a Sunder in Archdemon is going to be probably the preferred insignia. The Archdemon probably will be starting in about 2 days here on Android, and I am building an Archdemon team. It will be a low-level team, and it will not score any... it's not going to be top 10. But sweet goodness, if I can get top 300 on my first time around on Android, I would be thrilled. The equipment is Hyper Strength, and that really is the preferred enchantment on PD. Minnow, I used a nimble talent Minnow with a Wicked Armor insignia and a dodge pet to get through all of the dungeons. Well, now all the dungeons are done. So I want a Minnow that I can use in a utility sense and on a daily basis, especially when it comes to raiding, collecting gold. My buildings aren't maxed yet. It's a huge chore. He can get killed one shot through his own damage dealt back through reflect and deflect. Unholy Pact is certainly going to give him more attack, but, Wicked Armor does a really nice job unto itself. And it's going to mitigate that reflect and deflect. And he isn't going to get killed when I go out and I go and do some raiding. On the crest, I'm going to go probably a Revitalize every time. One hit on a base, boom. All of a sudden, I got a couple of million mana, couple of million gold. And Hyper Strength, for what I'm now using him for, I think is the best thing. Get his attack up. Atlanticore, invaluable to get through those dungeons. A revive, the higher you can get it, the better, because you want to give it multiple lives. The Insignia is typically going to be a revitalize in order to get that shield up immediately. And without that shield up, the guy's a dead man. Sometimes it is very difficult to get his shield up. That is why the revive, to give him a couple of extra chances. I have a Burning Plate. Not great. That's what I got. On my iOS account, I have a Cursed Battlefield. And it's one of the few things that you can put on an Atlanticore that actually does have an impact. Those attacking Atlanticore or engaged in an attack against Atlanticore are going to be taking more damage. Creation 01, I chose to prioritize Creation 01. He was probably one of the first 5 heroes. He was among the first 5 heroes I did. I wanted to have a really boss Creation 01 sitting on my base when I was at 150,000 money. That way when people come knocking and they say, what the heck is this? Creation 01, they're already obliterated by his electrical strikes. And, that fills me with pleasure. So I really wanted to max out my creation. I got him up to Breakthrough 25 already, and he's one of those core heroes that I'm using in every game mode. Sacred Light, wonderful, help keep him alive, give him extra health, little damage reduction. I can run the Empower Insignia when he's on base for an auto proc effect. I can run a Wicked Armor Insignia when he's up in people's faces like a Lost Battlefield, and he's not going to be eating reflect and deflect in this game. His equipment right now, it's another Burning Plate. It's what I got. A Holy Conviction would be great. It would probably be my preferred thing. To give him the ability to activate his skill multiple times because he's alive. And that's really what I'm trying to get from him. Ripper for Here Be Monsters. Prioritize Ripper, got him to skill 11. Sacred Light, keep him alive as long as possible. With the crest, I'm going to be running an Empower Insignia, and that is for the auto proc effect. I have him on base right now. I'm going to be running some Here Be Monsters in the next video on this account, and he will be one of the stars of the show. His equipment currently, a little bit more clicky, sorry, is a Healing Ritual. I'd prefer a Holy Conviction, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. I'm thrilled I got a 5. That pet right there, the Radiant Hawk, is the one that I put dodge on. And when I say I put dodge, I spent less than 2,000 gems. I got like a 3 dodge, a 4 dodge, maybe another 3 dodge. And I thought, my gosh, I'm so lucky. And that's plenty. And it got him up to enough dodge that most enemies can't hit him. And he's doing a great job of staying alive and a great job of silencing and shutting down the enemy. Laz, another one for dungeons and really just all around. Also, Here Be Monsters in some stages. Laz cannot be silenced. The talent Flame Guard can be silenced, meaning it can be taken away from your hero when that hero is hit by a Phobos or a Ripper or an Ares. And what ends up happening is the extra or the deflect damage that is sent back at the attacker, that's taken away. And basically you're left, half naked. But with a hero that is invulnerable to silence, like Laz or Wallawalla or Athene, for example, Flame Guard is really, really nice. It cannot be taken away, and it's always going to be functioning. Now we're having some trouble these days with Flame Guard and the effect of Spectre's Instinct on Flame Guard. And that too can help to take away the Flame Guard effect. But, you know, a lot of dominoes have to line up perfectly for that to happen. I still like Flame Guard on a hero that can't be silenced like Laz, and who certainly has that tanking ability. You see I have a skin on him, so I also put a revive on him. I'm really just using the Flame Guard, and with the Insignia, it's going to be a Sacred Light. Through some of the game modes thus far that I've played, I found that a Revitalize for instant skill activation is also really, really effective. Spectre's Instinct, I won't say impressed with it, but I'm accepting of its introduction into the game. I do see its utility. I am finding that Spectre's Instinct is a pretty good enchantment to use on somebody like a Laz, somebody like a Zeph, maybe a Dove, but not too many other heroes. Those other heroes, you know, they're kind of squishy, and they need damage reduction, they need healing and stuff. Spectre's Instinct, all it does is do damage to the enemy, and it does nothing to help Laz. But he's so tanky that he can get away with it, and I am loving it on him. Next is Dove Keeper. Dove, again, I took these core heroes up to Breakthrough 25. Took her to skill 11. Felt great about taking her Flame Guard to 10. It cuts down her damage cap by, 55%? Yes. So she's taking 55% less damage, even in addition to her damage cap. I only have the ability to take 2 more heroes to skill 10. So I was really picky and choosy, but I felt fine about doing this. Her other talent, I'm going to eventually be making it a high-level Sunder for those game modes like Lonely Sea and Damage Cat modes. With her crest, right now I have her sitting on base. And don't ever do this against a human being. I'm doing this against the Here Be Monsters computer mode. And I'm purposefully sending out Love Doves that are acting as shields or walls. Human beings and human attackers will exploit that because the Love Doves are weak and they can activate their skill on you and nuke everybody on your base. But the computer doesn't know that, and so I am using that setup right now. I think a survival would be great. I think the days of stealth on Zeph and Dove are going away in Castle Clash. We have too many ways to cut through, cut into, or outright stop stealth in this game. I have a Zeph, and Zeph I got through, I believe, either it was the Bazaar or Floating Isle. I did a lot of Tapjoy. I recently made a Tapjoy video. I had some folks, hey, and everybody's entitled to his or her own opinion. Had a lot of people poo-poo Tapjoy and say, oh, that's not possible or it doesn't work. I got a Rambard on this account from Tapjoy. I got a Bloody Mary on this account from Tapjoy. I got most of a Zeph on this account from Tapjoy, all within a week. Well, that's unheard of. I was beside myself. I thought, my gosh, this is like Castle Clash 2.0. This is unbelievable. I spent 6 months just trying to bring up my ninja back in the day. Anyway, I felt great about putting the Flame Guard on him. And again, for damage cap modes, I'll eventually get that Sunder up. I'm doing the Empower for the auto proc. He is a quintessential, brutal destroyer and lay of waster against the enemy when it comes to auto proc, especially in the Here Be Monsters, and that's what I'm going to use him for pretty soon. I have Spectre's Instinct on him as well. I just kept rolling the Spectre's Instinct, and so I put it on the hero that has a damage cap, figuring that he would be able to survive. If I didn't show you Doves, it was also Spectre's Instinct. I rolled like 3 of these Spectre's Instincts in a row, and I thought, put it on the damage capped heroes and put it on a big tank like Laz. And it really does a good job of shutting down anybody who chooses to come, knocking on the front door. they're going to be sent away very, very quickly. Next, we have Gunslinger. Gunny, I'm probably going to change her talent. I made a mistake by putting a Flame Guard on her. She's not immune to silence. I would much prefer a Sacred Light, which still activates even when you're under the effect of a silence. And maybe, when it comes to a crest, a Wicked Armor or something like that, that can really be helpful, especially in things like Ember Army. Her other talent is absolutely positively going to be a Sunder, and that is for Archdemon. She is the star of the show alongside Pumpkin Duke. Okay, so she's like the piano player and Pumpkin Duke's the dancer. And without either one, you got no show. So I'm definitely going to be going with the Sunder. I got a Pyre Mage on her, and that is outfitted for Archdemon purposes. A Holy Conviction or a Healing Ritual would be much better in terms of upping her survivability. Walla. I got my Walla with Man You Can't Be Silenced, loving the Flame Guard, didn't sweat 1 second, spending those precious level 10 runes. He's also a great auto proc hero, so I've got the Empower on him. If I'm running the Flame Guard, I got the Empower. He's on base right now. If I'm running the Flame Guard, I can also run a Sacred Light. I can also run a Wicked Armor. I can use this family of talents. Sacred Light, Flame Guard, Wicked Armor, and blend them together and give both offensive and defensive properties to my heroes. And really, only times I go outside of that, general family on heroes like this would be when I'm running maybe a Revitalize for certain game modes, or maybe running a Revive for little niche game modes. His equipment, I was really lucky. I got a Holy Conviction. Very, very rare. And I've only seen maybe 2 of these so far. And I immediately just put it on Walla. Holy Conviction on Walla, it makes him an instantly better Walla. And the difference is night and day from the Walla you were running pre-Holy Conviction to the Walla you're running now. Here was my Bloody Mary I got from the Tapjoy event. I prioritized her. I needed somebody who could cut through damage caps. And she can't be silenced. Gave her the Flame Guard. Terrific and great. Second talent, I'm not sold on. I haven't upgraded it in any way. Crit is dying in this game. Crit damage is dying in this game. Maxed out heroes have so much crit resist. It's just not really worth... It's not a road that's worth traveling any longer. It's time to turn around on crit. So I'm just doing the Flame Guard right now. Maybe Wicked Armor would be a good second talent. Crest, I could go Wicked Armor, I could go Sacred Light. I could put, a little higher damage dealing talent in there if I really needed to take somebody out. Holy Conviction is what I'd really prefer, but hey, I'll take it. It gives her a heal. She needs that. It lets her take away negative conditions, kind of wash herself of negative conditions, and that's very helpful as well. Boreal Fox. Fox is immune to silence. I am running solo on talent runes that I just kept it at a 9 with the Flame Guard. I'm thrilled with that talent on him. I'm also going to be using the Empower because I use him primarily as a base defender and an auto procer. When I'm running the Empower talent, I can then have a Wicked Armor Insignia. And not only is he a stronger Fox, Reflect and Deflect can't get him. And he becomes a greater base defender in things like Guild Wars. So I would much rather have an Empower and Wicked Armor Boreal Fox sitting on my base defending, and a Flame Guard Wicked Armor Boreal Fox in my team if I'm doing some kind of an attack. So that was kind of the setup with this guy, again, with a Forest Ward. Forest Ward's great, but not really at enchantment level 5. You got to kick it up to like 6 and 7 before you really start to see the benefit. Then it can be a beautiful enchantment, game changer, but not so much at 5. Valiant Saintess came along. Valiant Saintess through the Floating Isle and through Soulstone Collection in the Bazaar. Valiant Saintess, again, can't be silenced. I mean, this is what they're creating in Castle Clash. And this is why they pair very, very well with something like a Flame Guard. And does she have a second talent? Yes, but I haven't really chosen what that will be because the Flame Guard's, so perfect for her. I was able to get her up to skill 12. She's one of my highest skill heroes. I'd probably go with a Wicked Armor to cut down the reflect and the deflect. And wouldn't you know it? Yeah, another one. So I put it on Valiant Saintess because I figured, she's at least a little bit tanky. She's got a heal, a little bit of damage reduction, etc. Dread Drake was super, super helpful in the dungeons. Not quite as helpful as Minnow, who could be because he is the super base destroyer. But DD was still throwing out 11 cannonballs at a time. And with the help of the Nimble and a Wicked Armor Insignia and the one dodge pet, he could 3-flame the majority of the Insane 8 series. And he could 3-flame all the way from 1-1 to 7-10 just by himself. It's when he got to the Insane 8 series that I really had to, pull out my minnow and give DD a little time on the bench. His equipment, another Forest Ward. This is the luck of the draw, the luck of the roll, apparently. Cause I need for HBM. I thought specifically because of HBM AJ, and I am having Kaz on base right now. I would much rather have an Empower Kaz who's got Wicked Armor than a Sacred Light or a Flame Guard. What kills Kaz in this game is Kaz. He's his own worst enemy. He does so much damage with that paralyzing bubble that any hero that's got a Flame Guard or even a Victory Lunge enchantment where it's only 15% reflect, it goes back at such a rate of multiplication that Cosmo eats the deflect for breakfast. And it kills the man. So I am running this setup, and he's staying alive. I also have this Sunder, and I will up that for the same reasons as Gunslinger. He is a hero that has been used at least traditionally in damage cap modes like Archdemon. The equipment, I'd rather have a Holy Conviction, or if I'm going full Archdemon mode, I would rather have a Pyromage. But hey, it's a 5. Happy. Now we get to the part in the altar. I'll back up a little bit. You can see I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. Approximately, I misclicked. I'm sorry. I have, clicky. I have 16 heroes that I actually took to breakthrough. And did so because each one, I'm not saying they're the best heroes in the game. I'm saying that in order to smash the dungeons, smash through HBM, and do pretty decent in game modes all around in a very, very brief period of time and a high rate of speed, these are the heroes that I went with. And they're the heroes that are available in today's game and were available during this week of floating isles and all this stuff. So regret taking none of them up. Each one has been super, super helpful. What I'm doing next is I'm taking all of the heroes that I have in my altar. I have 100 heroes. I'm taking all of them to single, non-Evo level 200. And this way, when I do choose to evolve them, I will be getting back, I believe it's like 263 books, blue books, which is basically enough then to get you to double Evo. And then you get 217 back because you have to go a little farther up the scale and spend a little bit more experience. And then you use those to finish off the evolution process. So you can keep that freight train rolling as long as you're willing to, bite the bullet the first time and spend off a lot of books. But once you get that momentum of feeding books and then receiving books back, you start to do very, very well. Like, for example, my Trixie Treat. When I evolve her, I can evolve her right now, just to give you a little look here. By taking her all the way up to level 200, I'm able to get 263 books back. And really, really nice. They will be then in my warehouse, or in my mailbox. Collect those, jump back in. Trixie is only at level 1, but let's take a look at what these... One book. I wish I had smaller books. Sorry, I wish I could make this a little bit better when it comes to resource allocation, but that's what I got. And now she's already back up at 120. And you can basically come ahead this way. I got her with a Sunder for Archdemon purposes. None of these 50-50 on these talents, whether or not they're right. If they were 5s and a hero had a level 1 or level 2 talent, I slapped it on there. So I put a survival on Pally. Hey, can't go wrong. Ninja, I gave him a little extra attack speed. I'm not recommending it. That's what was available. I got the one of my first revitalizes that I rolled. I thought I'll put it on Cupid, because Cupid with the revitalize is essentially providing your entire team with a lower level revitalize. They all get a huge energy boost. So he can be very, very helpful in that sense. Death Knight, I got a vital boon. Tree, I used quite a few times along the way. And I went with a revive. I think the extra lives are really invaluable. And it was typically a revitalize to get his... ability to bring your whole team back going right away. But never did I evolve the man. I just used him to bring the heroes back, and then he would just die off. Beastie for the Archdemon. Again, none of these heroes are evolved. Medusa. This is the talent that came up. Professor Chubbs. I rolled a lot of Bulwark. Santa Boom, I would not recommend with this talent. Heartbreaker is now being used in certain Archdemon scenarios. And so I put one of my Sunders that I was happy to roll. I put that on Heartbreaker and was happy as well to take it up to a 9. I am not able to take it up to a 10 quite yet until I'm absolutely convinced, or I get the talent runes for it. Ronin, I went with a survival build. And then his crest, I put a revive. And I really haven't used Ronin. I thought I was going to need him in the dungeons. But Minnow and Dread Drake were just doing such a beast job that I never really needed to use the Ronin. Lava, I haven't really taken him out of the garage. He's just been sitting here the whole time. I rolled a Blade Dance. I put it on him. I wouldn't really recommend either one of these talents. I think that Sacred Light would be much, much better on the guy. You can do the, whatever the heck that one is that gives damage reduction as well as a silencing effect on the enemy. Lava can be silenced. So his Flame Guard can be taken away from him. And unless he's got exceedingly high dodge, Blade Dance is relatively ineffective. So unless you've got, 10k dodge plus natural base, then the Blade Dance is basically doing nothing. Now, even if you do have that 10k dodge natural base, and the Blade Dance is all jacked up to 10, you're going to be facing heroes that have 40,000 accuracy. So dodge is getting less and less effective these days. I still believe in it on core support heroes like a Wallawalla and a Ripper and, guys who wouldn't benefit from accuracy or attack. Anubis, I haven't used him yet, but I certainly will one of these days, and not evolved in any way, but good stuff like Wicked Armor, Sacred Light. I'm not so worried about putting a Flame Guard on him. Yeah, he can be silenced, but the man's got so many lives that eventually that darn Flame Guard's going to be working. Rambard, I did use him. I used him experimentally in some of the dungeons and unevolved. And he wasn't level 200 at the time. And he had like a level 7 True Piety. And I put a little bit of a Sacred Light on him. And what the heck was his equipment? Oh, he has no equipment because he's not evolved. And I stuck him in the dungeons. And the man wouldn't die. It's just like with base rating. He just sits there. And you put a Doom Balloon on him. Only problem is in the Insane Dungeon series, after a certain couple of stages, the Doom Balloon's not going to be enough to 3 flame the dungeon in 3 minutes time. So you got to use other heroes. But experimentally, I saw that the guy, even at low levels, even non-breakthrough, is practically invulnerable. And boy, that's quite a combination. And, call it a game bug, call it a game quirk. Either way, you got yourself with the True Piety, Sacred Light, and maybe like Forest Ward or Holy Conviction combination. You got a pretty much unkillable hero. Crystal Wraith, prioritizing for Archdemon. That's why the Sunder. Eventually, I'll put a Pyre Mage on the guy. Probably a Brawler's Favor. It's really all I use Crystal Wraith for on iOS is really just for Archdemon. And that's really where he excels. Rune Master, I'll get him up really pretty soon because I love what he does defensively. I just haven't needed him in dungeons or so far in Here Be Monsters. I like the idea of the Empower. I like a Wicked Armor Insignia. The guy does a lot of damage. I don't want him to be the victim of his own heavy attack. He only gains silence immunity after his skill activates. So he can get taken out. So be careful with the Flame Guard. Something like a Sacred Light's great too. We keep going back to Sacred Light no matter how many new talents they come out with. Sacred Light gives you damage reduction and a whole lot of extra health. And nothing to sneeze at. That's something very, very valuable in a game that dishes out so much punishment like Castle Clash does these days. Got an Asura with a little bit of extra health. Got my champ, a little bit of extra attack speed. Got my ghoul. This was the old school build on Ghoulem. And when I rolled my first bulwark, I said, I'll put it on Ghoulem. Extra attack, extra health. This was the best build for the ghoul in the early days when Guild Wars was first introduced. If you had a level 5 bulwark Ghoulem, forget about it. You would have to find some other way into that base because that guy would melt you. Val, that's a horrific talent for her. Please don't do that. But it was a 5. I stuck it on there. For her, probably something like a Revitalize or even a Sacred Light to help to keep her alive and give her a Revite, more preferably as an Insignia. Sass, Bulwark, can't hurt. We've got Hotshot, try to cut down his deflect. Also with the Zealous Drive, it can't hurt as well. Ice Lady, this is what came up in the rolls. It's I think she'd be much better with something like a Sacred Light, Wicked Armor, even a Sunder. She's got a pretty good DPS because she gives a good attack speed boost to the team. A Succubus, just old school talent. Just thought of Succubus, Druid with Druid with a self-destruct. Why not? I'm not gonna take it to 6, and the next half decent level 5 talent that comes along, I'll be replacing it. But this is what they call a might gainer, might booster, might filler, talent filler. Same thing with Thunder God. Oh, that was the talent I was thinking of for Lava's possible second talent. Lavanica's possible second talent, a silent cover. Does a real nice job with Lavanica. It ended up having to go on Snowy. He might have been born with it, and that's why I got stuck there. MO, ridiculous. Heaven's Wrath. Useless. But it's a 5. And Ares, yeah, sure, you give him a revite in one way or another through talent or insignia. Guys got to go off quickly to stop others from doing their thing. Athene can't be silenced. Flame Guard really has always been my preferred talent for Athene. I just haven't gotten her out of the garage as well. Storm Eater, Zealous Drive is wonderful. Really great hero to use in Lost Realm. He does health percentage based damage. The big boys that we fight, the big centaurs, red and orange beasts that are half horse, half beast man, they can be killed off through health percentage based damage and killed off in a matter of seconds. And I mean like 4 seconds. And that is by Storm Eater and his ability, Rosaline, Anubis, and Succubus. And they will do a specific amount of the damage of the max health of that centaur. And in this case, at level 10, it is going to be 15% of the hero's max HP. So, when he activates his skill, he really grinds the heck out of any of those Lost Realm baddies. Mahatma, I would be thrilled with something else, but this is what I got. I think Asunder is wonderful. One of the Favors talents can be very helpful as an insignia. A life drain is great on her, especially if you don't have her at like a breakthrough 30 where she becomes super tank beast. Life drain can be very, very helpful with her high attack speed. Rowdy Rascal, a little bit of extra range, a little bit of extra damage reduction as well as damage. Cosmo, I thought I was going to be using Cosmo through the dungeons, but she just wasn't necessary. I'll be eventually taking her up because she's a heck of a lot of fun. She is a hero that does not have to take damage to activate her skill. She only has to be targeted by the enemy. They don't even need to successfully attack her. So they can miss her entirely. She can dodge their attack, and she will still activate her drop anchor skill. So on my main account, I have a 7/7 all dodge Commodora. And when I jack her up with a whole bunch of dodge stuff and dodge pets, she's a Commodora that can't get hit. And every time somebody misses her, which is all the time, she drops an anchor. And the darn anchor will smash up the base in about 45 seconds. And she'll 100% an Insane 8 dungeon. She'll 100% a base. It's a fantastic thing to see. Oh, old Plant Warrior. Put the Bulwark on him. I'm going to keep the Bulwark on Plant Warrior until I specifically find a game mode where he can shine and where he becomes the star. So somewhere in the year 2039, when we're all eating some kind of vitamin paste as our main meal each day, I'll eventually change the Bulwark. We've got, who's next? It's more clicky through this computer. We got Valen. Yeah, crit's dying and all this is going away. But, I critted out my iOS Valen and I put a Vigorous Fury on him. And the man can crit because he's got so much crit. He can just barely get up over that hump and hurdle of crit resist. And he can actually do it. But that's about the only guy that is going to be able to pull that off against max title talent heroes. Occultist, wonderful hero, but I haven't had an opportunity to use him. I use him, I think, most often in the Lost Land because his damage to healing process is localized. It's not like a Wallawalla where he can affect everybody globally. So when the team is all packed in close together, Occultist can really, really shine because he can give that healing to that damage to healing effect to everybody. Queen Wasp, again, put her in the center, protect her. She's a buffer, gives you accuracy, gives you better abilities as a team. Jum, eventually I'll get him up there. I was just using him for a little bit of stun when I needed some stun, and that was about it. Demo always been one of my favorites, but there's not much to use him in Castle Clash, so I didn't prioritize him and break through him. Just did those first 16 heroes. SK, this is the talent that came around. Same thing with Mictessa. Skelly, I love Skelly with an Empower, and it's really probably my preferred build, and it's the same thing I have on iOS because I can run then Wicked Armor Insignia, and he's protected from Reflect and Deflect. If I don't like that and I want a broader defense, I can do Sacred Light. I can do a whole bunch of different things because Skelly's such a great auto procer. And that's really how I use him. I use him like an archer. He sits behind something and he shoots off arrows. I don't put him up in people's faces. Basically, Espirita, I've never really used her too much. Something that's going to keep her alive. Sacred Light. Throw a regen on there. There's a healing process. It can all help her. Serena has always been one of my favorite heroes. I will get her up there eventually. She is a buffer, a healer, and a reviver. And one heck of a damage dealer. And a great hero. Absolute, I would say, top 10, maybe even top 5 heroes to use in the game mode of Lava Isle. Lava Isles 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because she is going to heal, and there's going to be people, that's like a 20-person team when you got 4 players running. There's going to be folks who need healing. There's going to be folks who get killed off and need to be revived. She can do that. There's going to be folks who maybe aren't hitting with the damage that they need. She can help to buff them and make them stronger. But also, she's hitting through global attack 5, and this is at skill 10, 5 enemies simultaneously. Well, those are the damage cap demons in each corner, north, south, east, and west of the Lava Isle boards. So every time her skill's activating, she's hitting every one of the bad guys. So she has great multiple unit DPS. And has always had a place of honor in my altar. Bogey, my first Unholy Pact, I put it on Bogey. He's all hero killing. Make him better hero killer. I will get Mike up there. Don't be afraid of damage reduction on Mike. I know he's a deflector, but dead Michaels deflect nothing. Give him the ability to survive. He is an older hero. He can get one-shotted. Don't allow that to happen. Give him, 50% ability to reduce damage in addition to his deflect. Because if he takes, a couple of million strike from a dove, he's out. And he can't buff your team. And that's what I use him for. Buffing. A great buffer. Not a deflector. He's a buffer. Phobos, eventually I'll get him up there too. He's a great hero to use. Real nice in your face kind of clear a team sort of hero. A great brawler, if you will. It's kind of like the brother to Ripper. They do similar things, except Ripper is the guy who runs off crying to his mother. And Phobos is the guy who's still out there on the schoolyard saying to the bullies, bring it on. Okay? They're related to one another. And mom's going to find out either way. But Phobos isn't going home when the dinner bell gets called. We got Landwalker. This is what came up. Nothing wrong with damage reduction on the guy. Grizz, some of these old school heroes, I put some of these old school talents. You got the Molt with the what the heck is it? The Stone Skin. Oh, the Stone Skin Moltanica. Remember the Scatter Moltanica? I should put Scatter on there just as a throwback. You know, throwback back to the days. Got Orc. Little extra health, little extra damage. Never hurt anybody, especially didn't hurt Pixie. Siren. She's kind of seen her day as far as Archdemon is concerned. But I had one last Sunder come up. Siren can also hit multiple targets, multiple buildings, and really lay waste to bases pretty quickly too. We got a Destroyer from way back in the day. This is from when I first had this account, and I didn't acquire him recently. I have had him sitting in this altar for years. Destroyer, I have a Destroyer video. I found that a Sacred Light and a Survival and a Holy Conviction, it was the only way to really keep this guy alive. I understand he's a deflector, but just like Mike, you know, a dead Destroyer deflects nothing. Warlock, the old school build, you know, hit him hard. Remember the old Warlock, you know, he could one-shot your team. Heartbeat Queen, this is what came up. Yeah, this is probably a terrible talent for her. Probably a Sacred Light or Empower. Even a Wicked Armor to mitigate the reflect and deflect that she sends out. She doesn't attack hard, but she sends out a lot of hits simultaneously, and that can accumulate. Candy Cane, you know, I would go something that probably helps to up her dodge, because she helps to up your team's dodge. It's probably about the worst talent you could have for Arctica. Maybe a Sacred Light, but also think about a Revitalize. Maybe an Insignia form. Get that instant freeze going. Shut down the team before they even get a chance to attack. Blade Dance on Phantom King. He gets a big dodge bonus. It's at least a logical choice when, you know, beggars can't be choosers when it comes to every talent. You know, speaking of Lady Leo with Scatter, I mean, sweet goodness. I don't know. That's what we have. Now, Grim, I thought, you know, when the Scatter came up, I thought, put it on Grim, because he's got a high attack speed. And I figured I'm going to be fighting some bosses. I still haven't fought a boss battle here on here on Android. So when I do my first boss battle, I'm going to face Boss 3. I'm going to use Atlanticore. I'm going to use Succubus. I'm going to use Ninja, Pumpkin Duke, and I might use Grim Fiend for his scatter capabilities. Just a team of 5, old school, like it used to be. And we'll see what happens. Drakax, you know, sitting alongside Plant Warrior. Growing beards, long gray beards, waiting for something to happen. And that's basically what he does. Drakax, the guardian of the warehouse. And no one can come near your warehouse when you have Drakax there at the door. Revenant. I think he was born with this, because I wouldn't have put Silent Cover on Revenant. That's a pretty decent talent. And I would have put it on a hero that has a lot more utility. Revenant doesn't do much in this game. Don't prioritize your Revenant other than to bring him up for Destiny's sake so you can take up other heroes. Little Nick still got some juice left in him. You know, he's got that freeze that he drops immediately. Better talents than Bulwark, but hey, it can't hurt. Stone Skin Rockno, not bad at all. Now we get to, I have all the blues and all the greens for a total of, we're back to Spirit Mage, for a total of 100 heroes, I believe. Clicky. 100 heroes, yes. So I'm missing 2 heroes. I think there are 102 heroes currently in the game of Castle Clash. Yes, I'm missing Vlad Dracula. And I'm missing Rosaline. And I had to recount before doing this video. I had to count through my altar and figure out exactly what heroes I was missing. And it's Vlad and Rosa. Rosa cannot be rolled. Vlad can be. Let's do 3 quick rolls and we'll sign off with this video as we took our tour through the altar. Let's see if we can. I think it's also a hero collector day. So we want to try to roll a Vlad or a Rune Master, I believe. And we'll get a bunch of prizes. Okay, let's give it a try. I don't have any discount opportunities. Will we get... Oh, we got Commodora? I was expecting an Executioner. 2. Man. Good common sense says stop. But I just got 2 legends in a row. I'll do 2 more, see if I can get another legend. Nope. Okay. Good common sense says stop. We were not able to get our Vlad or our Rune Master, but we were able to get maximum progress here on the Android server. Loving it here over on Android. Saying hi to all the folks here on Android. Everybody's been so wonderful. Everybody's been so nice, so inviting. I deeply appreciate it. I'm going to be doing 1 or 2 more videos in the next day here on the Android server. We're going to take a look at the guild, and you wouldn't believe the guild progress that we have had in just a couple of hours. And I'm going to be running the harder stages of Here Be Monsters, and that should probably be coming up next. All right, thanks everybody. Enjoy your clash, and I'll see you later. All right, bye-bye.